from 10 until 11 on WHOW on AM and FM and on the WHOW streams. We provide farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on Central Illinois Ag Station, WHOW.
Your friend is Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom today is Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi, who follows up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Good morning, Mrs. Mayor. How you doing this morning?
I'm great. Thank you, Seth.
You staying dry? I don't know where you're at today, but we got some rain here at the station south of Clinton. I don't know where, like I said, I don't know where you're at. Did you
I'm
run
in
into some rain?
Decatur, and you can get a little wet down here today too, I think.
I tell you what, Decatur has just been, I didn't realize it, but they've been mashed by the rain lately.
Yes.
So yeah, been kind of hit and miss up here. But at any rate, let's follow up Tuesday night's Clinton City Council meeting. And first line of business, Mrs. Mayor, is citywide cleanup right around the corner. First of all, what is citywide cleanup? What do we know about it? And what do we need to know? How about that?
Well, citywide cleanup has been around for a very long time. This year it will go from June 30th to August 8th. And citizens in the city of Clinton can go up to City Hall and get a voucher. And they can take that and ID, like their driver's license. They can load up their truckload of stuff on their property that they want to get rid of, and they can take it out to the landfill and offload that for free.
So take advantage of that.
If folks have stuff laying around and they want to dispose of that, and maybe help a neighbor out too, if you could. If you got half a load and they got a little bit, both of you get in that truck and take your IDs out there. And once you get those vouchers, and it's a good time to clean up for spring.
When you go to acquire that voucher, Mrs. Mayor, do you have to have anything, a proof of residency or something of that nature?
Well, if you have your ID with you, your license or whatever, just to show you live we need to just make sure you live in the city of Clinton.
Gotcha. Very good. So bring that, and you pick those up at City Hall?
City Hall, you could ask Cameron for that. Yep.
Okay. Easy.
Yeah,
easy enough.
Easy.
What types of things do they take? Do they not take? Do you have?
I don't think they take electronics,
right.
Paint, the same things that they would probably tell you don't put in your dumpster when you get a dumpster. Don't throw in your garbage. Don't throw in there. But what they would take is those box springs or that lawn furniture or boxes or things that you've had sitting outside your home, sitting around or inside, I guess, that you want to dispose of, and I do encourage those who have a vehicle, those who have the time, maybe offer a neighbor a chance to also get to take advantage of this opportunity.
And again, the date on that, Mrs. Mayor?
It is June 30th through August 8th.
Oh, okay. So plenty of time to take advantage of that.
Plenty of time. There's only one Saturday, though. The only Saturday, and that time will be July 5th from 6 to 10. It's the only Saturday in that 5 or 6 weeks that they will be available. Otherwise, they are available, from I think it's 6 or 8 a.m. clear through 3 or 4 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. So.
Good to know. Very good. So citywide cleanup is upon us and kicks off here in just another week or so. Mrs. Mayor, I know that you're excited because Clinton, you've got a list of some sort that Clinton has made and didn't divulge a lot to me before we got started. What's going on here?
I'm very excited about this, that there was a list put out by, and I'm going to look at this so I don't say it incorrectly. I think it's World Atlas Corp put this out. And it's the 8 best cities to retire to comfortably in Illinois. And those cities include Clinton, Illinois. And some of the reasons they gave for that is the price of homes, of course, the median price of homes is not too high. They talk about our Apple and Pork Festival and what a joy that is. They talk about May Days. They talk about the facilities. Here they talk about Weldon Springs State Park and walking paths. They talk about the Friendship Center So, and the population being close to 18% of the folks here are over the age of 65. So there's lots of activities driven for retirement age individuals. So the other cities were Alton, Dixon, Princeton, Freeport, I think Ottawa, Pontiac, Belleville, but right in the middle of that was Clinton. So that makes me extraordinarily happy today because it's confirming what I already knew.
And what's that,
It's
Mrs. Mayor?
And it's a great place to live in Clinton, Illinois, and it's a great place if you're going to retire.
Well, and you listed off all those communities that Clinton is among, and there's some sizable places in that
yes,
list
there are.
for little old Clinton, Illinois, to fall amongst those. That's pretty solid.
I know. It says a lot about our community, the services we offer, the opportunities we offer, and it says a lot about the people that live here, Seth, I think.
Sure. Very good. Is that list available like in a publication? Can folks find it online?
I literally Googled it. Somebody said, hey, I think your city might be on this. And so I Googled 8 best communities to retire in Illinois. And up it popped, and there's Clinton. And it shows our city hall. They have a picture of our city hall on the website.
And who published this?
World Atlas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Check that out. That's cool.
There you go.
That is
so
cool.
It is very cool. It is great.
Sure. Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi on the Zoom with us. We follow up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Mrs. Mayor, let's do more on the meeting from last night. Anything out of last night's meeting that stood out to you?
Well, we did take some action on a solar field last night. And we brought to the vote and passed unanimously to send a letter over to the county that says we will not disagree with the county pursuing an agreement with one of the wind farms. I believe the wind farm was Rewild. And so
do you mean solar? Do you mean solar farms, Mrs.
Solar,
Mayor?
Sorry.
Yep,
yeah,
fine.
solar.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew what you meant. I'm just a lot of people may not. So.
Yep. Nope. God, let's not do that. Solar farms. And so Rewild will now have the option. They will, of course, work with the county. I understand the county's had some applications from some solar farms already, and they're working their way through the process. But our role was to send that letter to Rewild Solar Company to say we won't oppose that, but we're not annexing anything to the city ourselves. We're just not going to get in the solar business as the city of Clinton right now and annex anything. So now that gives us the solar company the opportunity to move forward and talk to the county, which I believe Rewild already has been doing. I think most solar farms that brought things to the city that are seriously wanting to do something in our area have already gone to the county and started those conversations.
I was going to say, I think the county is anticipating several applications coming in the not so distant future. So,
yes, yeah. So they can now all move forward to straighten that out. And I certainly have every confidence in the ordinance that the county has created. They'll do their due diligence and do a good job.
Mrs. Mayor, you said for now the city's not going to get into the into the solar business, in terms of annexing. Does that mean just not in the solar business at all right now? Or I guess what does this mean for the city and its stance on solar?
I think right now, myself, and I don't want to speak for other council members, but I do believe we feel like right now, Clinton isn't going to annex anything. We're not going to tell any solar company that we're going to annex any other property into the city, because we don't know where Clinton's going. We're excited. We're hoping for progress. We're hoping we're going to use that property ourselves for annexing for new housing developments or business. So as our plans develop to make progress and grow our community, we don't want to landlock ourselves by saying, yep, we'll annex in, and for 20 years, you're going to have access to that. So I think right now, we're just looking forward to seeing what we can do ourselves.
One more kind of follow up on that is, is there interest in solar development in property on the city that is not necessarily need to be annexed into city limits?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. So it's that to put a bow on it, sounds like solar development in Clinton right now is kind of at a standstill then.
That's right. We have to protect the city and also be respectful of the residents that the solar farms may impact.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these were like, no, I don't think I'd want that. So we're trying to be very cautious and respectful of the people that live here, but also where we're going to want to be in 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Sure. And a lot of that, Mrs. Mayor, has to do with the strategic plan and what is laid out in that. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to jump into that conversation and have to break. So let's break and then we'll jump into the conversation.
Great.
Very good. Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi joins the program this morning, following up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. We've got more with the mayor next on the morning show.
WHOW.
Looking for a new Silverado? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have a good selection of new Silverado inventory. We have Silverados in 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s with several trim levels, custom, LT, RST, LTZ, and yes, even high countries. All our inventory is priced for our summer savings season. Baum Chevrolet Buick. Together, let's drive. BaumChevroletBuick.com right from the start.
80 million listeners depend on AM radio to always be on, delivering news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports you can trust. AM radio also delivers vital emergency information when you need it most. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
June is Men's Health Month, a time to focus on preventive care. Regular checkups can detect issues like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes early, improving outcomes. Don't wait for symptoms. Schedule your annual wellness visit today. Early action can save your life or the life of someone you love. It only takes one appointment to start taking control of your health.
This June Men's Health message brought to you by Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton, providing quality, compassionate care close to home.
Find out how you and your family can save up to 40% on the meat, produce, and grocery items you use every day by clicking the Clinton Save-A-Lot icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Jay Peterson here from Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton, Farmer City, and Maroa. Find out how Pekin Insurance can give you peace of mind by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi joins the program today, following up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. And Mrs. Mayor, we touched on and referenced the strategic plan in that first segment. That was such a buzzword in the mayoral race for this unfinished 2-year term. And it was a big investment by the city. It was something that took a lot of time, and former city administrator Taylor Baxter had a big hand in trying to move the city forward. You've said that a couple of times here for this morning. What's the latest with the strategic plan?
Well, right now, we're pulling apart that plan to see is it still workable the way it is. So pretty soon, I'm going to say maybe July, August, we're going to start actually sitting down with groups and saying, this is what we thought when the plan was developed. Is this still where we are? What are we doing about bringing together a retailers association, for example? What's the next step? So now it's time to pull this apart and say, where are we going? And let's get going. Mm-hmm. If we're gonna do this, then what's the first step, and then take that first step.
Is that not part of the strategic plan? Is to say, okay, this is the goal, and this is how you get there.
It absolutely is, but that strategic plan was approved quite some time ago.
Okay.
Right. So now we need to look at the plan and say, yep, okay, this still makes sense, just the way it is. So now it's time to look at the timelines right, that were developed in, and the goals and the objectives, and say, if these are still true and valid just the way they are, now we start holding ourselves accountable to start working on implementing that strategic plan as it may need to be tweaked.
Mm-hmm. What does that timeline look like for you, to get these people together, to get this ball moving and all those things?
I think we're going to have a meeting the first couple of weeks of July is my hope, to pull folks together who were part city folks and maybe law enforcement and financial and all the folks together to say, here's what we all agreed to back then for this strategic plan. What does this look like right now? And let's start talking about it, including, they put in the strategic plan, a new city hall, a new fire station, new digs for the police department. So what does that actually look like? We have to have the pragmatic conversation now, Seth, that says, what is the actual need here and how we stepping this out? It's great to say we're going to have all these things. How are we going to pay for this? What's our timeline, really our timeline for this to get this done? And then I need to start reporting in a few weeks at the council meeting on where we are on that strategic plan. We need to be sharing with the community, hey, since the last meeting, or once a month, I'm going to say, hey, this is where we are. This is what's been done. Because the community, they have a right to know where we are and that we're making some progress on this plan.
How do you keep this from kind of getting bogged down by the process of meetings and, just the way government can run slow at, oftentimes? How do you keep this from getting kind of caught in that circle, or that never ending cycle of meetings and, revision and all that good stuff?
Because we're all held accountable in between those meeting times, Seth. When we say at this meeting, someone says, I'm going to do this by the next meeting, that action happens. You have a meeting and then action happens. And does it sometimes get bogged down? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're waiting on a bid. We're waiting on some information. We're waiting to know something. Then that's what we're going to be told. But we need to be told just basically in general, what's happening with that strategic plan that the city paid good money for.
So I had the chief, police chief Ben Lowers on the show last week, and he talked about the strategic, the piece of the strategic plan that deals with the police department, and they're moving forward with their end of it. Is there anything in the strategic plan of particular interest to you that you want to dial in on and really see move forward? Is there anything in there that's of special interest to you?
A big part of what's of interest to me is the overall presentation of our community to the rest of the world, Seth. So it's about showcasing our community, bringing more visitors here, which in turn will then support our businesses we currently have. It's showing off what Clinton has to offer and doing that in a tangible way. So I've been talking this week with a lot of folks and gaining a lot of support of volunteers to say, the entrance to Clinton in all directions, it says, welcome to Clinton, needs to look like we mean it. And so that means all those flower beds that have had nothing done in all those areas, there's a lot of folks stepping up and saying, hey, I'd like to help do something. Can I help with that? So tangible things. We say it, we have some action. You can have meetings all day long, but you have your meeting, and then what does that look like?
What's the fruit of that labor? Sure.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Very good, Mrs. Mayor. Well, I'll tell you what, let's continue on this morning. Ordinances continue to be a hot topic among folks in the community. I know last kind of time we talked about it was really at the council meeting back in June, where you heard a lot of folks talking about some of the, 3 or 4 of those that really stood out to them. What's the latest? Where is this process of refining those and having them ready to maybe be voted on? What's going on there?
Well, as you know, from the June meeting, we had refined the ordinance pertaining to trees because there was a communication issue with that. There have been some other revisions that are currently in the works with the city attorney weighing in on those. And we should have we discussed last night that in July, we should have the final draft of that to bring to the council, put on file, bring to the council, and have available for a vote. So that series of ordinances would then be finalized in July.
Are you at liberty to tell us if those have changed much? What's in those if they have? Are you at liberty to talk about that?
No, because I wouldn't want to misspeak about that because there's several that have had some revisions. So, but we'll be glad to talk to you about that after they go on file and we've all seen that final copy.
And when will that be, do you think?
I'm thinking it will be hopefully by the first meeting in July. Hopefully by that meeting, it'll be on file. So
to be voted on in the at the 1st of July. Okay.
Well, to go on file and then be voted on.
Yeah, got it.
By the last meeting in July.
Okay, got it. Yep, I'm with you.
So we can move forward. And we got a lot of good community input. You know, I just think it's good when the community feels like they can come forward and say, I don't like this, or I do like this, or I have a concern about that. That's when things work best.
Yeah. Mrs. Mayor, I got a minute left here with you this morning. I know the end of year audit for the city has taken place. What's the latest there? What do you know?
Well, Commissioner Edmonds last night told us that they're wrapping up our financial books for the city, and they'll get ready to head into an audit. He did give us good news last night with the gaming tax was up 6 to 8% over last year. And it looks like that's about $268,000 that the city has gained in some revenue. So that's really good news because there's a lot of things that we can talk about doing with another $268,000 for our community.
There you go. Mrs. Mayor, this was fun. Let's do it again soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Seth. You have a great day.
Yeah, thanks for doing this with us. Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi on the program with us this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, we stream live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news comes your way now on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.